दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲನೆ
एक्सप्रेस दयावासी स्टेशन नेताजी भवन
Hello and welcome to Voltas FreshAir Coolers presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. It's a super Saturday. There are 3 contests I'm very excited for. First up, CSK take on DC. Later in the day, Punjab take on Rajasthan. And the third contest, Lisa Sthalekar takes on Harsha Bhogle. Welcome to the studio.
Already.
We started yesterday.
Serious?
We started yesterday.
No, they started yet. I said nothing.
You know, I've said this to her before. There's only one word that defines Lisa Sthalekar. I go everywhere in the women's game. I said, so how was Lisa to play with? How was she to play against? And I say, feisty.
She was fiery yesterday and naughty yesterday. So
Fiery and naughty yesterday?
Yes.
So it was just another day.
It was just another day, but she was warming up for this contest. So I don't know which one's going to be the most exciting amongst the
Before the program started, she said, you're a very good man. And I can live off that for the next 2 years.
But I never said it on air. So who knows?
All right. 1 up, Lisa, then. But
Okay.
1 up, Lisa. I'm going to keep score. Let's not talk about that prediction score just yet, but I'm going to keep score. We'll start and get away.
She's had a dig at you straight off as well.
I thought this third contest she was going to talk about was the guessing game, because every time I come on, the other two are so happy because it becomes a one-on-one contest.
Let's talk about the first game and the
Okay.
first contest. I know this is the exciting one, but there's another exciting one going on. Delhi have won the toss and they've decided to bat first. Day game against CSK. Of course, the big news was Ruturaj Gaikwad did come out to captain. There was talks, murmurs, rumours because he was injured, but he's fit and he will be playing. But Harsha, you know, that yellow seems to be a little mellow this season. They've not really got things going.
She prepped the rhyming as well.
Yeah, I did. And the contest. I have to keep this contest heated, no? There should be a little poetry. You're talking about poets, so...
Yellow is very mellow so far, except in the first game against Mumbai. I think everyone was feeling their way around. But you can see why Delhi want to bowl first. It'll be very hot there. It's dry. The pitch report says there isn't a blade of
But
grass.
Delhi's batting first.
Yeah, Delhi's batting first.
Yes.
Yeah. So did I say bowling?
Yes.
That's the Lisa effect. So
He's just nervous with you
Yeah.
next.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
It's his first time. It's his first time doing this. So everyone just be a little bit kind.
Delhi are batting. So Delhi are batting first. You can see why.
Yes.
Not a blade of grass. There never is a blade of grass on the pitch in Chennai anyway. Hot day, as there won't be any dew. As it goes along, it'll get slower and slower. So I'd imagine that's a pretty good toss to win. And I think come what may, Ruturaj was playing. They have such problems with their batting that come what may, he was going to play.
It's interesting you say the problems with the batting because that's what I wanted to get into right away. The problems have been up top, that combination, Lisa, I don't understand. It was working so well for them, Conway, Ruturaj, those green numbers for them in 23, and then they just kept shifting things around and they just haven't quite clicked up top.
Yeah, 24, obviously he was injured and didn't take part. So they would have been loving if Devon Conway was back in Chennai colours and able to kind of fulfil that role and kind of keep that partnership going. And then as time goes on, performances, form, you start to see Indian players. How does the balance of your side, you know, you've just gone through a big auction, so you've got different players. How are they going to mix well together? So they're trying this combination. Now, we're not in the team huddle. We don't understand. We don't see what goes on day in, day out. But to us, it just seems like a no-brainer. Like, bring back Devon Conway, please. Because they're the lowest run rate in the power play. And we've seen that the blueprint has changed over the last couple of years in IPL. So if you're the lowest, you've got to rectify that. How do you do that? You're going to have to get your overseas import in there.
Well, like you're saying, their run rate's been some 7.5 and everyone else has been above 10 in the power play. Harsha is like giving a 100-meter sprinter those extra 2 seconds because now cricket's moved so quickly, you need to get those runs in the power play.
Especially now, the way the game's going this year, even if you're playing a 170, 180 game, we're seeing scores starting to taper off after the power play. So absolutely essential that you max the power play. The only thing with Conway is they would have liked him to have scored some runs in the Champions Trophy before coming.
Yeah.
But he lost his place in the New Zealand team to Rachin Ravindra after he came back from that injury. But sometimes there are some players that get into a certain situation, they just find themselves again. And if he's told, look, there's no stress on you, go and play your game, as Chennai normally tell all their players, it might just come off.
You know, you said they have to find themselves. One thing that Chennai is not finding is what that pitch is doing for them. There's been so much discussion about the pitch with so many teams, and even Fleming said that they're trying to find what that pitch is. He said the start of a 3-year cycle is always difficult, especially if you're just short of a little bit of form. We're pushing hard to try, but we're not. We're making mistakes doing it. Going back home, I just hope we get a wicket that we can understand and play well on with the weapons that we've got. Lisa, you think we've spoken about this, but you know, this home advantage, the pitch, do you think there's just been too much discussion about it?
Well, obviously the teams playing at home don't feel like they do have that advantage. And I guess that's always historically been the case, that you know your surface, you know the dimensions, you know the look and feel, the smell, the atmospheric kind of conditions as well. That's going to help. But I wonder if, it's just come to me, I wonder if groundsmen are thinking T20 World Cup is coming here. I want my ground to be part of one of the venues. Can I start producing some really good pitches for that T20 World Cup? Because that would be, you know, that's a little notch in your belt that, hey, you know, I took part in an ICC event. So I don't know. I'm just trying to understand why is there a change and why are so many teams grumbling about this? And so there might be some other kind of reasons why the ground staff are trying to produce really probably batter-friendly pitches.
Look, the ground staff traditionally, say a Calcutta groundsman or a Lucknow groundsman, doesn't have that much say in the IPL. There's a central pitch committee that decides what the tracks are going to be. But if you remember, after all the hullabaloo after the game in Chennai, if you see yesterday, Lucknow got a track that gripped a little bit. Luckily, there was no dew. Kolkata got the track that they wanted, finally. Mumbai got the track that they wanted against KKR. So slowly, I think there's a little shift that's happening. Either the pitches are rediscovering their
Roots?
Normal identity, their roots, their normal identity. Or maybe they're saying, look, let's just leave it. Give harder pitches when Mumbai are playing, slightly softer when you go to Lucknow or when you go to Kolkata. If that is indeed true, then today, then it should be a really slow pitch. Well, if not slow, at least one that grips and turns.
We'll see if it grips and turns and if CSK find their roots in the pitch, and if they find their roots even in their playing 11, because they have a few changes. So let's have a look at CSK's playing 11. We spoke about how Conway needs to come in, and there he is.
Amen.
Up there with Rachin. And Mukesh Chaudhary is in as well. Overton is out, but high time, Harsha, Lisa, that Conway is in.
They had no option but to play this team. And this was one of the things we had considered before the start of the tournament. Mukesh Chaudhary has done well for them in the past. Nice swing bowler. So Chaudhary, Khalil, Pathirana, Noor, Ashwin, Jadeja. The top three still have to get a lot of the runs. Because Vijay Shankar, yes, he's been around for a while. The one they're missing there is that someone to dominate that middle order. Something like Surya Kumar Yadav does for Mumbai or India. Shreyas Iyer is doing so well this year for Delhi. This just controls the middle at a very good strike rate. That they're missing. So they had Tripathi, they had Huda, and they had Vijay Shankar. Neither of those three entered the tournament with any great form. So today, one of those top three will have to bat through at a decent pace, because even at 6-7, I know they've got Jadeja, they've got Dhoni. There isn't somebody who will go out without fear of getting out and strike at 180, 190 easily.
Yeah, true. But also for CSK, you know, usually all the IPLs, we've always copy-pasted their teams. They go with that same playing 11, nothing really changes. they have last game they had 2 changes. This game they have 2 changes again. So they're not really finding those combinations.
Yeah, and probably Fleming kind of hinted towards that around the quote where he said, you know, you've got every new cycle, you've got this new group of players coming through. So, and some are searching for form. As you mentioned, Harsha, they haven't come in to this competition off the back of big runs or taking a lot of wickets in domestic cricket. So I don't think they know what their best 11 is. And so they're having to kind of suck it and see. Right, your turn. Okay, you're not quite right. Okay, we're getting a little bit closer to you know, we're getting closer to the middle of the tournament. We need to find a win. We'll try you now. So that's their issue at the moment. So someone's got to grab these 11/12 are going to have to grab their opportunity and then kind of put a stake in the ground and go, I'm here for the rest of the tournament.
You don't like the 12 concept, I suspect. I don't either. I don't know. I like all-rounders. I like teams that are struggling with their composition, and then suddenly someone stands up and does something surprising. And I like that kind of cricket. But look, the public seems to be liking it. So there's another team that's we saw with Mumbai yesterday.
What the public is saying, because we should look at that impact list. I know you all both are not in favour of it, but we need to have a look at that impact list.
We can play this game.
So Shivam Dube comes in, they will be batting second.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they already have those 4 overseas players. So I think it's a no-brainer that Shivam Dube comes.
Shivam Dube actually bowled pretty well. He bowled a lot for Mumbai. He came in when he played for India again in the games against Australia. Against England. He actually bowled well. So I wonder why they're constantly putting him in there. Maybe it's because they think that maybe Vijay Shankar can bowl a little bit, or maybe Vijay Shankar is much better in the field. And here's something, if you're a young Shivam Dube, just ensure that you're never ever the impact sub, that you always aspire to be the best fielder in the side, and you're saying, look, if my runs don't come off, if I'm not bowling, I'll still win a game for my side with my fielding. So if you're a youngish player, then if you're being the impact sub, it's not a very happy thing. So hopefully he'll come and win them the game with a bat for CSK's point of view.
All right, let's see who is going to put their hands up for Delhi. Let's have a look at their playing 11 and see what changes they have. Ooh, Sameer Rizvi is here. There's no Faf
injury
because of an injury.
That's a big loss.
But I think he is in their impact. We'll have a look at that later. Ashutosh Sharma was in the impact last time around. He's in the playing 11. We'll quickly have a look at the impact as well. Oh, there is no Faf in the impact.
Look, Delhi are batting first, right?
Yes.
If Delhi are batting first, wouldn't they want a bowler as their impact player?
So
maybe Mukesh Kumar comes as an impact player. In case they lose a lot of wickets early, they've still got fairly deep batting, they might push Donovan Ferreira in. Because he's that type of player, goes in at the end and hits big. But I'd imagine, let's look at the 11 again and let's see what the bowling is looking like. Because there's Mohit Sharma, Mitch Starc, Kuldeep Yadav, Akshar Patel, and a little bit of Vipraj Digam. So they need that bowler. So obviously it'll be Mukesh comes in as the impact sub.
So it will be Mukesh. There's not too much of a choice there.
Otherwise, Tristan Stubbs is bowling an over or 2, which I'm not a big fan of just yet.
She's so much more polite to other people than she is. She wanted to say, Tristan Stubbs cannot bowl.
No, he can bowl.
She's Aussie, remember?
He can bowl, he can.
Just because she's got Indian roots, she's trying to be honest. She's Aussie. So she wanted to say, Tristan Stubbs cannot bowl. So she's gone round and round like some of us do in trying to be nice.
I thought I was quite direct.
He can bowl 1 over, but maybe not just yet. Nice to know. 1 all.
Lisa, 1.
Oh, please, he can't give himself his own point. That's ridiculous.
Okay, sorry, I'm not counting that as a point.
It
wasn't Aussie enough. We needed.
No, it wasn't Aussie at all. Let's see as Aussie as they get.
Yes, yeah, but we need you to punch a little harder the next time. Then we'll give you that point.
No, I said punch a little harder. That's what she does in a new movie. She's constantly punching people. Okay.
I like punching people. I like punching people behind this calm demeanor that I have. I like punching people, but someone who needs to punch a little harder is Pathirana. I want to chat about because he's somebody who has been the gem for CSK, and then he had that injury, the hamstring injury. He was ruled out. He's come back. His numbers aren't really doing that justice, and also Ash has been expensive. The onus on him, Harsha.
I have a theory. I'd love to put that by Lisa as well. June 24 is straight after the end of the last IPL. My gut feel is, it's a theory that doesn't yet have basis, just a hypothesis, that when he goes back from playing for CSK, he's a better bowler. So he went back from playing for CSK, had a good run, but somehow when he turns up for Sri Lanka, he's not yet the bowler that he should be for Sri Lanka. So I think he comes back to the IPL and takes his time becoming that bowler again. But last game, I think he was 2 for 28 or something in 4 overs. So last time he started to get it right. Yes. He's critical for them to bowl at that back end.
But Lisa, do you think he should be opening bowling because he is their trump card? He comes in like after the 10th, at least an over in, you feel?
Look, I think he knows his place. See, I like your theory because good teams, good cultures give players a real set, defined role. And the player comes into that environment and goes, great, I'm not going to get confused. All coaching staff is saying the same thing. Then in Sri Lanka, it might be different. His role might be completely different, and he's not trained accordingly for it or whatever it may be. So sometimes there's a certain environment where you just feel at home, and he obviously feels that at Chennai. I think what works for him really well with this franchise is where he bowls. That might change. So if he was ever to go to a different franchise, I'd be fascinated to see how they would use him. You would expect they'd use him quite similar because he's used to these conditions and that type of thing.
Also, some bowlers are not always great with the new ball.
Yeah.
I think they like it slightly older. It's hot today, dry pitch. You never know. You might get a little bit of tail in by the time he comes into bowl. So I think today at least it might help. Though he's occasionally bowled an over in the power play.
Yes, very rarely though, just very rarely. But you know why I was asking is because usually that CSK setup, they had a Tushar Deshpande, they had Deepak Chahar. So it almost feels like who is their go-to pacer? If he is your main pacer, shouldn't he just come a little earlier?
Luckily at the moment they've got 2 at either ends. Khalil is bowling really well and Pathirana at the back end, so they're okay stocked over there. They're using Ashwin in the power play. So far, it hasn't come off. So far, it hasn't. Sorry, it hasn't come off. It might today, for all that you know.
You know, Ashwin also spoke about how Pathirana's action. Dhoni had spoken about it when he just came onto the scene about how he could be, injuries could come into his career early on, and his workload management will be important. Do you think that's going to play an important role in his future?
He's 22 years of age, right? And the action and the stress that he puts on his body just from something quite unique and different. Don't change it, but all young fast bowlers, roughly from the age of 16 to 17 through to about 25, they're still kind of growing, and the bones and everything and the muscles, and you haven't physically got to your peaks. So depends on, I don't know what workload management is like in Sri Lanka and things like that. So he may be put under the pump a little bit. And so I'm not surprised to see that he's come in and out of injuries. The thing is, he has to kind of almost pick and stick with an S&C that he trusts. Wherever they are in the world, go with that person and try and work based on their kind of program.
Well, Lisa, we've got the Aussie in the house and we've got a fan question that's coming for you. So let's have a look at the Ask CB question that's coming for Lisa. Saswat Bose asks, I have a question for Lisa Sthalekar. Jake Fraser-McGurk had a great run last season, but ever since seems to have tapered off. How do you all rate him back in Australia?
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember sitting in these chairs and we were talking, will Jake Fraser-McGurk play the T20 World Cup? And I said, no, the Aussies won't do it. And then there's some people back home that said, you know what? He should have come in for David Warner because he was like on cloud 9. Every time he went out to bat, it was just amazing. But he went over as kind of the travelling reserve and then he sat out a lot. He just watched a lot of cricket and it's kind of popped his bubble, so to speak, right? And then second year blues comes where people know, they've seen what you can do, they've adjusted. Okay, we know he just stands and delivers and he's going this way. He's not looking to do anything cute. So this is the length, this is the speeds, all of that type of stuff. So he has to keep adapting. There's probably a likeness to when Glenn Maxwell first came onto the scene. So very talented, can strike the ball beautifully, but just stay a little bit longer. Don't play those silly shots straight away. So I think that's what a lot of fans, they'll get frustrated with him. But give him a little bit more time. He'll figure it out.
The second thing that Lisa talks about is so true. Because the first time you come along, no one knows you.
Yes.
You saw Rathi yesterday. You watch when he comes in the second year, the batters are clever. They'll have figured out, okay, when he's doing this is how the ball will come, and they'll set up for him. So Jake Fraser-McGurk is going through that. Also in Australia, while they play T20 cricket very well and they've got very good big bash players, there's still this thing. He doesn't play red ball cricket. So this time when I was in Australia, they're saying, Fraser-McGurk, but he doesn't want to play red ball cricket. So there's a little bit of that
I think
still.
he does, but it's very hard to turn down a big contract to go overseas, fly business class, get treated like a rock star, instead of to rock up day after day out in the field for 90 overs. Like that doesn't seem like a lot of fun, right?
As one of my Aussie friends told me, he said, look where the world is headed. He said, Starc, Hazelwood, Cummins, all three of them are resting, getting ready. So they're not playing the Champions Trophy, so they can play the IPL.
That's what
So it's a new order. I've nothing against Jake Fraser-McGurk. I liked the impishness of Sam Constas, for example. He'll get found out a little bit and then he'll come back stronger too. So the second season syndrome is absolutely true in every sport.
But I want to go from one Aussie who's not had so much experience to the other Aussie who's had so much experience under his belt. Last year, he didn't have so much IPL experience, so much T20 experience. He took his time to get things rolling, but then he just arrived on the big stage. I'm talking about Mitchell Starc. From KKR, he's moved now and looks like he's carried that IPL form from last year because he's looking like he's in red hot form.
And he's looking really good. And he's one of the modern greats of the game. So he's going to pick up very, very quickly. Last year, he was doing what has worked for him over the years and made him a great, which is he swings the ball back in. He gets that angle, but he swings the ball back in. Here in IPL, these wide balls are not swinging. I mean, I remember that day Trent Bolt started with 2 slips to a left-hander. After 2 balls, he turned to Hardik and said, this. And straight away, one of them went out. This ball is not swinging. So immediately, they've had to pull back their length. And I think we've got some numbers. The numbers suggest that is exactly what Starc is starting to do now. Because the moment you bowl full and the ball comes in a straight line to you, the batter's hitting it back where it came from. The moment it stops curving, then doesn't matter if you're Starc or Bolt or any of the greats, you're easy to play. And Lisa will sort of vouch for that. Look what's happening with the lengths.
Yeah, you're right in the sense that the first year he hadn't played a lot of T20 cricket. Like everyone goes, oh, here's this guy, white ball specialist. He swings it. He's great at the death. But he never had played a lot of T20 international cricket, let alone franchise cricket, right? And I also think, so he's learnt the lesson of what do I need to bowl on these pitches as well. But I also think he's found a franchise, and we spoke about it, I think, the other night, where there's a lot of Australians. At KKR, I think Phil Salt was the only one that played golf. And there wasn't a lot of overseas players. Here he's got Matthew Mott, KP, Jake Fraser-McGurk himself. So there's a group of lads that would all hang out, and he's like, hey, this is all right. I can do this. Because he'd only played for Australia and his Sydney Sixers. He'd never gone and played other franchises.
For Australia, had not played a lot of T20 yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he'd never gone out and immersed himself in a different team with predominantly coming from a different culture.
He likes playing golf.
But
he's the second best golfer in the family, isn't he?
He is, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but I just want to go back to those numbers, Harsha, because there are certain bowlers who bowl and they manage to get those wickets. But with Starc, he bowls those deliveries where they're unplayable. And we've seen how he's adapted. He's spoken about how, he had to swallow his ego and change and adapt, and he knows he's 35, so he knows that it can't be brute pace and he has to work on variations much more.
He's still got the pace though.
Yes.
But look how much it's changed from 23% last year to 43% shorter this year. And those good lengths, there was a time when people were playing the scoop shots, were dragging their left foot out, hitting through mid-wicket, and you thought the length ball, when you say good length, is good for the batter than for the bowler. But in course of time, there's a reason it's been the good length for 100 years. it's made a staggering comeback in T20 cricket with the bowlers who really pound the deck hard. So you see the good length hasn't changed very much. If you see those numbers, the length is still largely similar. He's just moved from bowling largely full, which was 37.4% to 23, to a little shorter. The good length has changed a little bit, but it's largely from full to shorter.
Short.
And then the other thing that he's really developed, and it's been more so in the test arena, but he brings it now in white ball, is the wobble seam. You know, he was playing with a Pat Cummins who could execute a wobble seam really easily, and it took him a while to kind of figure it out and practice in the nets. So that variation, and then you'll watch at the death, and especially at the tail, he mops up the tail really nicely, goes around the wicket and goes those Yorkers. So he's not looking, you'll either go Yorkers or short, right? There's nothing in between there. So those numbers would dramatically change at the death compared to in the power play. So he's got a formula at the moment, but he knows he's also going to be tested on these grounds.
My feeling is if he gets one ball that swings a little bit, straight away you'll see he'll be bowling a lot fuller to try and take advantage of that. But otherwise, you look at the swing long enough, you just stare at the ball long enough and the swing's gone.
Well, it did rain today in the morning, I think, in Chennai for 15 minutes. So maybe we will see a little bit of swing that Starc wants, just that little bit.
I love how she wants to see swing. So she doesn't say little bit. Little bit.
Little bit.
This is like DK. When DK sits here, when he emphasizes a word, that means he wants to say it very strongly. Yeah, hopefully they will. But it's a hot afternoon. I don't know.
Hot afternoon. We know what Chennai wants. We know that they want it to be.
I mean, I'm assuming it's a hot afternoon.
Sorry. It is hot now.
Okay.
It's a hot afternoon now. But they would want this to be that turning pitch because that's what they've been talking about. And we've seen how the last time Delhi did beat CSK was back in 2010. But Lisa, you said that these numbers of the past don't matter yesterday, but that will be playing on their mind somewhere, you think?
Like Jake Fraser-McGurk wasn't even born then, right? Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't matter, right? These numbers of the past, they don't. Yeah. For the fans, it absolutely means a lot. And for us to talk about something, it means something, right? But the players won't care because this is a different group, different squad. I think 2010, I think the Delhi coach was part of Chennai as a player. Maybe he understands the idea of the pitch because he's coached the Chepauk side a couple of times to a few titles in the Tamil Nadu Premier League. So maybe he's read the pitch really well. Well, I guess we'll find out who's read the pitch the best.
Also Delhi are batting. They will watch how Chennai bowl on it because they've got someone, if it grips a little, Akshar Patel becomes twice the bowler. Kuldeep Yadav is in very good form. They might just pull out a third spinner somewhere to bowl a little bit, if indeed that does happen. Because we've noticed a trend this time. And it's happened with Mumbai twice now, especially with Hardik Pandya. He's bowled so well in a certain style, he's almost set the template for what the opposition should bowl to Mumbai. And it'll be interesting to see how Chennai bowl today, because they've got the bowlers who understand those conditions very well. It might actually be a clue for what Delhi do afterwards.
Well, I want to have a look at that points table because Chennai, I don't know if they're pressing that panic button just yet. 3 matches and they have won just 1. They're coming back home. They have first of their 6 games, 4 are at home. But Lisa, when are they going to start pressing that panic button if things don't go all right today?
If they don't win today, I think the button, they might be hovering over the button. Don't know if they'll press it just yet because you look at their management, same management. Yes. They've seen so much. They've experienced so much. So they're not the type of group to panic. And nor do the owners, because you never see the owners, right? So there's a lot of experience and calmness in that change rooms. But there'll be a bit of uncertainty and a bit of frustration.
There is a lot of uncertainty in me right now because we have to have a look at the joy factor question. Oh, yes. And there's panic all the time.
I wonder why there's uncertainty in you. Calcutta is not playing.
Oh, no, it's the joy factor. It just shows me how little I know. But, well, here goes. Quinton de Kock was playing for which team when he recorded his first half century against Mumbai? The question seemed easy.
He was traded to Mumbai from...
Hyderabad?
So who was he playing when he scored?
I think he was traded to Mumbai from Bangalore, wasn't he?
Was it against or which team?
Which team was he playing for? And he got his half century against Mumbai.
He got it against Mumbai.
Must be one of those other teams like...
It has to be one of those other teams.
Don't be no one likes a smarty pants, okay? I was going to say...
I love it. Just focus on her.
I
mean, it is going to be either the Deccan or one of those
Yeah,
teams,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Like Pune Warriors. No, he never played for... Did he play for Pune Warriors?
Must have been somewhere there.
Yeah.
All right, we'll leave this guessing to later. We'll get to our guessing game, and I have to give you all this update that KL Rahul has come out to open.
So essentially, KL Rahul is the person you put last. When you're packing, you have this stuff that you put last into the bag.
Yeah, poor thing.
So KL Rahul is the last you put into the bag. So KL Rahul basically turns up and he just looks around that batting order and says, okay, who's not there? Who's not there? Okay, looks like Faf is not there. I might be here. Oh, Rohit's come back, so I might be... Rohit's not there, so I might be opening. Oh, I think I'm number 6. So I think if you wake him up in the morning when he's about to brush his teeth and say, what kind of batter are you? He won't know.
And he's been all right with it when he's been moved around. He's put his hand up.
He started off really well at 4 the other day.
Yes, so maybe he puts his hand up today up top. Let's hope that happens for KL Rahul's sake. Lisa, go first.
You want me to guess? 207.
207.
Go on, because I don't count in this.
I'm going with... No, I'm going to go low. I'm going to go 187.
Yeah? 176.
You said it with a lot of confidence, that 176. So hopefully you get off the mark. And I genuinely mean it. When I was
number 11 for my school team for a year, as the youngest kid in the school team, I always walked out in spite of the fact that I wasn't getting runs. I was a little kid in the school senior team. So.
I like that confidence in your guessing game has carried on. But I really do hope you get off the mark, because I know how bad it feels to be there. I was there for 9 days. 9 long days. So
She's just rubbing it in.
No,
I feel not off the mark.
I completely feel you. So I hope that Harsha gets off the mark. I don't mind winning with him. Lisa's got a whole lot of wins. So you can you've got 4 other 6 chances today.
You started off the bank, didn't you?
It's a double header.
I needed to retire as soon as I...
You got duties done?
Yeah, he's done.
One bullseye, thank you. I'm not coming on again.
Lisa, you've got a whole lot of chances today, and we know you manage to crack it all the time. So let's hope either Harsha or I get it, okay?
No.
Oh, she doesn't approve, but let's see if one of us gets it. We'll give you all the updates at the 10-hour point at the Cricbuzz Combox. Thank you so much for watching. Voltas FreshAir Coolers presents Cricbuzz Live.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲನೆ
Hyderabad Express, Railway Station, Netaji Obot.